Right, welcome back. And again, let me welcome our guest, Dr. Khaled Abu Heib, Chairman of the Investment and International Cooperation Committee of the National Council for Strategic Planning. And thank you again for being with us tonight.
Pleasure being here. Thank you.
And today we have seen the visit of the Somali president to Egypt since his inauguration, or since he assumed office, his first visit abroad. This visit that already took him to the United Arab Emirates, Turkey, Eritrea, Kenya, Djibouti, and Tanzania, and today Egypt.
Yes.
Let me read here how you view the significance of the visit, and at this very particular time, before we read into the statements of both presidents.
Okay, that's a good question. Let's first start by saying that a lot of people will be surprised that the relations between Somalia and Egypt goes very back in history, and it is not from the recent present. So our ties go back for many, many years and centuries, not from today. And the Egyptian governments in the past until now, and the people who are responsible about the Egyptian diplomacy and foreign affairs knows the importance of Somalia for national security of Egypt, and the Somalis know the weight of Egypt. And if there is any security or there is any stability, Egypt will be the main player. So if we go back to history, since the independence of Somalia, there is a lot of Egyptians lost to their life to get this independence for the Somalis. The most important one is the diplomat Kamal ad-Din Saleh, who was killed in 1957. And after that, a lot of Egyptian forces to get the independence. And when the turmoil started to happen in the 80s in Somalia, the Egyptian armed forces were the first to be there under the United Nations flag. So we never left the Somalis, and we made sure that Egypt has a presence where everybody in every country and every agency fled and left the Somalis in a chaos. The Egyptians were there. So, and this is what mainly the president of Somalia today is paying tribute to that. We never left them alone. We made sure that one day they're gonna come. There will always be a country stable, and even if there's any turmoils in it, any situations, we made sure that over the time they're gonna come, Egyptian forces, and Egypt was always present.
Let us say that we have very deep-rooted historical relations that started since the old Egyptians, since Queen Hatshepsut.
Yes.
When she sent the first
to bond
trade, exactly.
Yes.
And lots and lots of efforts have been exerted by Egypt in order to be able to maintain the stability of Somalia because of this very strategic relations between both countries.
This is absolutely true. Egypt cannot be considered as a regular country. Egypt is how can I say? Egypt is the main concern of stability in the Middle East. So the security and the stability of Somalia, the stability of Uganda, the stability of Tanzania, the stability of Libya, the stability of the Gulf countries. It's all national security to Egypt. So it is not the border of Egypt. We were never like that in history. So we have an extra role. We are almost like the godmother of all of these countries. And I'm so glad to see that we are reclaiming that position again.
Before we go into the agenda of the talks, or the topics that topped the agenda of the talks, let me here take how close vision of both leaders is in many regional and international files, from your point of view.
I can say they are identical. They cannot be different in opinions. Both of them spoke about the international rivers between the countries. Both of them agree on that there should be negotiations on the waters, and there should be through diplomacy. Both of them know that the importance of security, the importance of fighting terrorism, the importance of building their countries, and what will take most of the African leaders by surprise when they visit Egypt is that in less than a decade, in 5-6 years, Egypt is completely transformed. Last month, I was attending the African Exim Bank meetings.
Bank.
Yes, African Exim Bank. And His Excellency President Sisi was there, and I was with all these African delegates and delegations. And it was in the new administrative capital, which I would love always to say the African administrative capital, not only the Egypt administrative capital. They were taken by surprise. How did you do this, guys? What happened? I was here 2 years ago, nothing was here. Oh, I was here 6 years ago, this was completely sand. So when, as they always say, seeing is believing, when they come here and they see this in front of their eyes, not through a TV show, not through a movie, not through whatever, and they live in it and they stay there for 5 days, they will ask themselves, what did the Egyptian do? Why we cannot do it back in our countries? They go back with reports and they say, oh, we need to take this experiment back to our countries. And that's what they were asking for. What did you do in healthcare? What did you do in the infrastructure? What did you do? We need your security. How did you secure this country? If small countries cannot secure themselves, how did you secure all of these borders, sea, land, air, different ethnicity? What's this? How did you manage to do all of this in Egypt? So the Africans...
We don't have different ethnicity.
Oh, definitely we do. What you're talking about. The people of north of Egypt are Bedouins. The people of south of Egypt are Nubian.
But we cannot say, because we've never felt this. We've never had this.
And this is the beauty of Egypt. Sudan was part of Egypt. Sudanese was part of Egypt. So, okay, these are the ethnicities I'm talking about. In other countries, they couldn't live together.
Exactly. I mean here, have you ever felt the difference between Nubians or the southerners or
I didn't
those
say
of
that there's a difference.
Yes.
I'm saying is that managing these ethnicity and let them be in one melting pot is not an easy thing. These African countries, when you go over there are tribunal tribes and everywhere, and they cannot get together.
Indeed.
So the social the social lives in these countries, when they come in Egypt here, they ask always how to do that and learn from our experience.
Indeed.
This is what I meant.
A role model for living in coherence.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed. Let's speak about the topics the both leaders spoke about, particularly in the press conference they held after the talks, and they started with the disputed Ethiopian dam, where both spoke about the importance of reaching a binding deal on the filling operations, and the importance of Egypt's security. Or water security.
Water security, yes.
How do you view that, and how can both sides really cooperate in trying to pressure the other side
It,
Not pressure, because it's for God's sake, we have the same destiny. Just to convince them that we have to live in peace and
Yes.
harmony, and that we should be sharing.
Truly what you're saying, but it goes back because of the Somali leadership. They know how the Egyptians think, and they know we are very close in relations with them, and they know the importance of the Nile to Egypt, and even for the Ethiopians. Don't take the president of Ethiopia or his party as the complete Ethiopian people. But we know that there is a lot of hands and fingers are playing in the behind. But it is very clear. It's a no joke for Egypt, and it's a matter of life or death. And I will always recall the verse of which President Sadat, God bless his soul, said, if Egypt is going to go to war again, it's going to go war for water. So our statement is very clear.
But it was our choice to take it in a peaceful way, or to take dialogue into a peaceful way so far.
That's a point of debate. Big point of debate.
We have been carrying on with the peaceful diplomacy
Yes.
up till this minute, in order to convince the Ethiopian side that they have
They're gonna come to it, but
that all reason comes with what here what the Egyptian think about, or what or the plans that we are putting, because we are speaking about purely legitimate rights.
true.
Right, that was the first thing that the president or both leaders agreed on, and then they went to another important issue, which is, as you said, respectively here, the Egyptian role in trying to maintain the security and stability, particularly of Somalia, and supporting African countries at large to achieve security and stability. You're reading to what was said, because that was even said by the Somali president.
It was said by the Somali president, and previously before President Sisi said it, and also Prime Minister Madbouli said it. It's a no-brainer. We both of us agree on that stability comes first, and after that we can build the country, or we can build nations. So definitely we are for the stability of Somalia and for the stability of all the African countries.
How do you view the role of Egypt throughout the past period, and efforts to help maintain security, not just in Somalia, but also in the whole Horn of Africa and in Africa at large?
I would like, first of all, to give all the credit to His Excellency President Sisi to taking the initiative and get the courage to take that decision and to start to reclaim the Egyptian territories and the Egyptian presence in the most important parts of Africa. It was been well neglected for a long time, for over more than 30 years. His Excellency visited countries like Djibouti, and he also last year or the year before he visited Conakry, and it was the first president after Gamal Abdel Nasser. So we're talking it from the very east to the very far west, to countries which was neglected with previous administrations. So if there is a credit, I would always say it goes back to the leadership, the person who is taking on his responsibility to do it. So definitely it is the right move, and it is all the credit goes to His Excellency.
If we speak about the importance and strategic relations between Egypt and Somalia, then we have to clarify the geopolitical importance of both countries.
Okay.
So, of Egypt, we all know.
Yes.
Definitely. Let me here take your reading to this importance given to both countries.
If we talk about the major problems here we do have in Egypt, we always have say that food is a big issue for Egypt, like agriculture, commodities, meat, fishery. And with this vast land, millions and millions of acres in Somalia, fertile, and water is over there, and all of this shores with fishery, with a lot of agreements between Egypt and Somalia, we can both nourish and get benefit of it. We do have experts in all the field of agriculture, in raising the cattle, in fishery even. So, and we have all of this vast resources available in a country like Somalia. Definitely, this is going to help both of our economies. First of all, it's going to help them to create jobs in Somalia when we go over there and train them and do joint ventures with them. And when these products is exported to Egypt, they're going to get an income. They can sustain their living over there. And here's comes the importance of the treaty of the African Without Borders, which was also highlighted in the Afro-Exim Bank meetings. And here comes the importance of the African-Exim Bank, which they said that they gonna guarantee that the exchange rate between countries, each country can buy by its own currency. We don't need to pay in US dollars in America, which is across the Atlantic, to buy meat from Somalia, which is down in Africa. So it doesn't make any sense. And all of these people of Somalia, they need clothes. We do have clothes, we do have ceramic, we do have all the building materials they need to build their country. Let them come and see here. I'm not gonna say, forget about the administrative capital, but for a leadership to take a decision in 24 months to how can I say, to refurbish and reconstruct 4,500 villages over 1 million square miles in Egypt with fiber optics, very fast internet, with healthcare, hospitals, with all of the governmental agencies over there. Okay, these are villages here in Egypt. They're not anywhere. So when they say this is happening here in villages and happening in all of this vast in 24 months, every African president say, why we cannot do it? Let's sit with the Egyptian and ask them, how did you do it, guys? Okay, we can teach them how to do it. So this is the importance of this negotiations and this bilateral relation between us and them.
Definitely, that is the common cooperation. We'll get back to this very particular point. But here I was speaking about the geopolitical strategic importance of both Egypt and Somalia.
Okay, the geographically and where the Egypt is. Let's take, for instance, as we were talking before the broadcast about the Red Sea. Okay, we have the Red Sea from the north. They have the Red Sea from the south, and it is one of the most. It is not one. It is the most important water path in the world.
Indeed.
Okay, and we remember years ago when we did have the pirates off the Somalis shores,
yes.
with the tankers and all of that. So securing this area is not only for the good of Egypt and Somalis, it's for the well-being of the whole world and the trade of the whole world, and securing the stability of Somalia And with this African Horn and where they are positioned, it is very important not only to East Africa, but all Central Africa, because most of them are locked countries without ports, and all of them needs to go through ports. And this, so it is very, 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 very important, this relation. We having it from the north, they having it from the east, and the other one we're going to be South Africa, and if we're going to go to the west, it's Senegal.
Here, both leaders have discussed, or rather they agreed, on the importance to put the Horn of Africa's security and stability as a priority for both countries, and that they need to bilaterally enhance the security and stability cooperation on all levels.
True.
What does this mean, and what do we need in order to put that?
What we need is it's a very hard and very tough effort needed to be done. Don't forget that this country, which is Somali, we trying to rebuild a whole country and to bring a whole country back together. And it was go through civil wars and tribunal wars, and every kind of war was over there, and every kind of terrorism is over there. It's going to take a lot and a lot and a lot of effort. And for the Egyptians to train the Somalis, they're going to take a lot of effort to start to bring stability to this area. It is a massive effort need to be done, and I think a lot of the international agencies need to tip in or to jump in to help bring that stability to this part of Africa, because when Somalis had all of this turmoil happening over there, not only Africa, it's the whole world that paid the price.
Indeed.
Yes.
And speaking about the efforts to do with that, and before we continue on with our discussion, let me take here the second report. An Egyptian Somali rise witnessed great development supported by strong political will to develop future plans in many fields. Let's watch.